Hello book lovers! Today we're wandering through a stack of fiction books that includes poetry, contemporary fiction, thrillers, cosy and not so cosy mysteries, and we'll finish with a modern classic that not only shaped how we think about censorship and technology, but also inspired me to make a short bookish do-it-yourself tutorial you probably weren't expecting. Fantasy and science fiction books do have an episode of their own if you're wondering why they're missing from this list. As usual, details and links to everything I mentioned in the video are included in the description box below, along with a link to the companion article with even more books that didn't make it into the video. Let's start with a couple of poetry collections. Dwell is a pretty little volume that features British poet laureate Simon Armitage writing about habitats, nests, hives, dens, gardens, places where creatures live and what those spaces say about our shared world. The collection was inspired by the magical lost gardens of Heligan in Cornwall, and it's illustrated by Beth Munro, so it's very much poetry meets place. Reading that invokes the soft rustle of leaves and earthy feelings of damp soil. A lovely collection if you enjoy close observation of the natural world. Candlestick Press have a long-running 10 Poems About series. These are slim, curated anthologies you can give instead of a card. Each little booklet gathers 10 poems on a single theme, which showcases how different poets can respond to the same topic in completely different ways. Lyrical, funny, political, reflective. I've been showing their 2025 titles on screen, but they produce a bunch every year, so there's lots to choose from, although they do go out of print quite quickly. They come with an envelope and space for you to write a personal message, and I love gifting them. Now let's take a look at some contemporary fiction. McSweeney's issue 79 is a fully embroidered cloth-bound volume with bright tangerine cloth embroidered front and back with art by Marta Monteiro, using over 133,000 individual stitches. This volume is part of Timothy McSweeney's Quarterly Concern, the long-running, shape-shifting literary journal founded by Dave Eggers back in 1998. Over the years, the quarterly experiments with what a literary magazine can look like. Past issues have arrived as hardbacks or paperbacks, and a bundle of fake junk mail, and one issue's even a lunchbox. And they champion both big name and emerging writers, so they're always interesting. This one's got 9 short stories, letters, an essay, and an excerpt from a graphic novel. Originally published in 2015, A Little Life by Hanya Yangiara follows 4 college friends who move to New York. On the surface, it's the story of these men as they grow older, build careers, fall in and out of love, and navigate their changing friendships in the city. But it focuses in on the childhood trauma of one of the characters and how that's shaped him. It's an unusually intense book about male relationships, friendship, family, and intimacy, and it doesn't sugarcoat the aftermath of trauma. This 10th anniversary collector's edition has cover artwork painted by artists R.F. Alvarez and Linus Borgo, and a question and answer section with the author. Sosuke Natsukawa's The Cat Who Saved Books is a slim, cosy fairy tale-like novel about a reclusive teen called Rintaro who inherits his late grandfather's second-hand bookshop. A talking tabby named Tiger shows up and drags him into a series of mazes to rescue books from people who misuse or misunderstand them. The stories that follow celebrate books as the foundation for relationships and attention, and include warnings about what happens if they become status objects, productivity hacks, or purely commercial products. The Cat Who Saved the Library is a follow-up that focuses on 13-year-old Nanami and books disappearing from the library, and it continues Natsukawa's blend of whimsical talking cat fantasy with a meditation on what it means to have the freedom to read. There are a few different special editions of these books. The two I'm showing here are by Picador with the cute little cats spray painted on the page edges. Another book in translation is Before We Forget Kindness, the latest volume in the Tokyo Cafe series by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. The books centre around a tiny backstreet cafe in Tokyo where if you sit in one particular chair and follow a strict list of rules, you can travel in time, but only until your coffee gets cold. In this volume, we meet a father who didn't let his daughter get married, a woman who never managed to give chocolates to the person she loved, a boy who wants to smile for his divorced parents, and a wife holding a baby with no name. The book's magical realism rather than science fiction, and again a strong focus on relationships, and it leans heavily into the idea of kindness as an active choice we make every day. And now for a walk through my mystery shelves. Richard Osman's Thursday Murder Club series continues with The Impossible Fortune, where his pensioner protagonists get tangled up in wedding preparations that go predictably, murderously wrong. Osman's clever at introducing impossible crime elements that seem unsolvable until a clever twist reframes them. I'm showing the Waterstones exclusive here with its foxy sprayed page edges, but the UK standard edition has illustrated end papers and a silver fox stamped on the boards, and there's a Barnes & Noble exclusive too, which has got bonus content from the author. I'm sure the recent film adaptation helped to make this fifth entry in his series one of the year's top sellers, with earlier series volumes also remaining hugely popular. The first book is one of only a handful to have sold more than 1 million copies over the past 5 years. I don't have a physical copy of this one yet, so please forgive the screenshots, but if you're a fan of the gritty crime TV show Slow Horses, there are a couple of new special editions out of the first Slow House novel by Mick Herron that inspired the show. It's set in a grim office where disgraced MI5 agents are sent to shuffle paper until they're forced to quit. Of course, they end up pulled into real dangerous operations. The US Illustrated hardcover collector's edition's got a die-cut cover that peers through to the full-colour end pages, a fold-out poster showing a cross-section of the Slow House offices, illustrated chapter headers and page edges decorated with the London street map motif. The UK Special Anniversary Edition is signed by the author with purple sprayed page edges, a ribbon bookmark, illustrated end papers and a bonus essay from Tim Shipman, a political journalist for the Sunday Times who writes about espionage. There are 2 interesting editions of Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express out this year. I'm showing the deluxe collector's edition here with the HarperCollins hardback special edition for comparison, but the new deluxe edition is, I would say, pretty simple. It's a naked hardback with some gilding, decorative sprayed page edges, illustrated end papers, and a bonus page of notes at the end. A friend of mine's got my copy of the graphic novel, so I apologise I'm using screenshots again. But this is a really nice hardback reissue of the original paperback release from 2023. It's adapted by Bob Al Green and has full colour artwork throughout and illustrated end papers, and it's a great adaptation for anyone who'd prefer to try the graphic novel format. This isn't a special edition, but I did want to mention Murder in the Cathedral, which is Kerry Greenwood's 23rd and final Phryne Fisher mystery, a posthumous farewell to a beloved sleuth as we lost Kerry earlier this year. Set in 1930s Bendigo, the novel sees Phryne travel to the goldfields to watch her old friend Lionel installed as bishop. Of course, the ceremony doesn't go to plan. The fantastic 1920s rich fashion covers for the Australian editions of these books are designed by Beth Norling, and they're all based on descriptions of Phryne's frocks and jewellery from the text. A Case of the Claws is a fun stocking stuffer. It's a small anthology of classic cat-themed short crime stories by authors Catherine Aird, Edmund Crispin, Patricia Highsmith and Ellis Peters. Each story even includes an illustration of the cat in question. And strictly speaking, the last one in the section is more of a thriller. Dan Brown is back with another Robert Langdon novel, this time sending him through Prague, London and New York after the disappearance of noetic scientist Catherine Solomon, whose research on human consciousness may be dangerously world-changing. It's a fun blend of highly speculative science with real art, architecture and historical ideas. The UK standard edition that I'm showing here has a beautiful foiled case design and illustrated end papers. Faber has started releasing a nice new series of illustrated modern classics, with titles including The Great Gatsby, The Bell Jar, 1984, and two of E.M. Forster's novels, Maurice and A Room with a View, which is the one I'm showing here. First published in 1908, A Room with a View follows a young Englishwoman travelling in Florence with her prim cousin and chaperone. They're initially outraged at their room with a view that looks out onto a courtyard, until the unconventional Mr. Emerson and his son George offer to swap rooms. This simple gesture pulls Lucy into a circle of people who don't play by the usual rules of Edwardian society. It's a very approachable read for a classic with short chapters, gentle humour and recognisable conflicts. The books in this series are tastefully illustrated in black and white. They seem to be aiming at a young adult market, as they call their book selections rite of passage reads, although I'm not sure why they think adults wouldn't equally love these affordable illustrated editions. Now, I wanted to make a big finish with this special edition of Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. If you're not familiar with the story, it's set in a future where firemen don't put out fires, they burn books. Our main character, Guy Montag, stars as one of those book-burning firemen until he begins to question why books are banned and what's missing from his life. Despite being written in 1953, it's still an interesting springboard for thinking about censorship, the impact of mass media, and individuality. So relevant for today's debates on social media, algorithmic feeds, and whether simply having access to information is the same as engaging with it. So this special 60th anniversary edition was advertised as having a striking slipcase, and I assumed that meant a real striker strip was on the spine, which I thought was so clever. Imagine my disappointment on testing it to discover it was just textured paper. So this is where you get the surprise DIY section of my book review video, because I went out and bought striking paper. I cut it to size and glued it on myself. Voila! It was a pleasure to burn. Thanks for joining me for this leg of my Beautiful Books of 2025 tour. Would you like to share what fiction you're reading now and where it sits on your shelves? Poetry, romance, thriller, mystery, or something else? Or as I mentioned earlier, if you're reading some fantasy and science fiction, you might want to check out that episode as well. Thank you so much for watching. The final video in this series will be up soon, so please do subscribe if you want to be notified about my reviews. Till next time, bye!